Alright, today we're going to talk about the Drums' new album, Encyclopedia. Now, Encyclopedia finds the Drums at a really weird situation. After the touring for their 2011 album, Portamento, their drummer left. And I know that seems like irony, but the original drummer for the band, Connor Hanwick, left the band. He left the drums. So this really put the band in a strange spot. Will they recruit another drummer, or will they try to carry on without him? And it looks like they've chosen to carry on without him. So now the drums are just Johnny Pierce and Jacob Graham. And so if you're a little bit worried that their sound is going to be a little bit different, if you're worried that this is going to change their sound, you probably have a good reason to, because not only are they missing a drummer, but it's been 3 years since their last full-length album. And the band has changed in some ways. The band has moved away from their mostly sunny and really bright compositions that feel a little bit like beach-ready indie rock. But now they've moved into like a slightly more streamlined electronic and poppy combination that really channels 80s pop. Yeah, I know that really sounds awful and it really sounds horrible, but hang in there because Encyclopedia is actually pretty good. In many ways, I think that this new album is the album that other similar bands like Yellow Ostrich or Golden Suits or the Dodos or even Death Cab for Cutie in a way have really been trying to make the past few years. An album that sounds bright and cheery but is actually kind of the front for a lot of melancholy. And so this time around, the Drums' music is still bright and poppy, but it's more electronic tinged. This is a combination of organic instruments and synthesizers and drum machines. And so yeah, it's glossy, but this glossiness really just coats a really regretful, really sad, really bluesy core, which makes for a really nice contrast between these two things. So the first single for this album was Magic Mountain, and that got some fans of the band a little bit worried because it really found the band moving in a different direction. It almost sounds like a punk song, and actually it sounds like a Jane's Addiction song. The music has punch and it has teeth. It feels a little bit nasty, even though it is kind of high energy. It doesn't feel like the Drums per se, but that's okay because with the next song, they kind of write the chorus, even though I do like Magic Mountain. After that, they move on to slightly brighter fields, which really kind of begin this 80s pop, 80s inspired pop music for the rest of the album. And so maybe adding this drum machine and creating these automated beats were the Drums' way of addressing losing their drummer from the last album, but I think that it works, and I think that it helps push this band in a slightly new direction. I think that enough of the band's core sound and their core conceits are still there, but now we have but now we're able to move in slightly different directions, and I think this is maybe best exemplified on the song Bell Labs. Now, Bell Labs is probably the spaciest thing that this band has made, and generally it drops the structure of verse, chorus that they and pretty much every other band in the world does. It's also really beautiful. I think that this would not have been possible if they were still working as a three-piece. But there are plenty of other really good songs on here as well. Like I really enjoyed I Hope Time Doesn't Change Him, which is kind of, it's got this really nice groove to it. And the penultimate track, There Is Nothing Left, is also really good and has some really heartbreaking, depressing lyrics, which are fantastic and work beautifully on this song. But there are a few tracks on here where it really finds the band straddling a little too much between this depressing undercurrent and their poppier outside. I hope that this musical change, this change in sound, doesn't off-put too many fans, but it probably will make a few people a little bit upset. I think that this album is probably a 7.2 out of 10. It's pretty good, and I think that if you enjoy indie rock music, you should at least check this one out. It'll probably find you're definitely gonna find a few tracks on here to enjoy. Alright, if you thought this review was helpful, how about giving me a thumbs up, or subscribe to this channel, or even better yet, follow me at earbuddy.net. But I want to hear from you now. What do you want me to review next? Did you like this album? Did you not like their change in sound? Or do you think that this album sucks? And I think that's pretty much it. So, bye-bye.